Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is September 22nd, 2017. My name is Lynn Marquidon, and I'm your host. Welcome. We have an hour or 60 minutes of uninterrupted sewing time. So grab a project and let's see what we can accomplish together. Thanks for joining me, everyone. It is a rainy day here in the northeast of the United States. I hope that it is warm or comfortable and not wet wherever you are. We sure have had our fair share of storms and earthquakes and disruptions. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But first, let's talk about what we're going to do today. We are going to do clue number 3 of our Scrappy Square Dance quilt brought to us by Color Wheel Quilts. So thank you, Jean. Thank you, Kelsey. It has been such a treat to have something to look forward to every Friday. So I thank you as we jump right back into FiberCast. So we're going to do clue 3. I also wanted to share with everyone some random things. We're going to talk about hurricane relief and the fact that we've had multiple hurricanes and now we have earthquakes in Mexico. How do we figure out how to spread our giving so that it makes the biggest impact? And I know I've been doing some thinking about it, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. And I've talked to a few people that I wanted to share those ideas. I also wanted to share some beauty. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is a carnation that came from the arrangement that Katie gave to me a few weeks ago. Actually, believe it or not, 3 FiberCasts ago, so 2 full weeks ago. I love that color, and it still smells. And then this is a pretty pink rose that is blooming in our yard, which is pretty amazing. I love the second flush, the fall flush of these colors. And so I just wanted to share that. That's down near our sink, and I brought it up. I can't keep it near all our sewing because knowing me and the day I've had, I would certainly knock it over. I've had one of those days. Do you ever have one of those days where things just... everything I touched didn't work the first time. And the second time, no, it wasn't that bad, but it was one of those days. So I'm glad to get sewing. For anyone who might be new, make sure to go to either the Color Wheel Quilts Facebook page or the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along and get the clues, or go to simplycolorful.com. My color palette is blues and golds. And you may recall with some whites, and my golds are the accent. So this was clue number 1. We made 4 patches. Then last week, we made these half square triangles with the accent color, and yellow's my accent. And it looks like we're going to use this week. And then this week, and we have stacks of 2.5 by 4.5 inches and 2.5-inch squares of my blue scraps. So let us see what the clue says. And I think I need these and these. I'm remembering what the clue says. And these. So I'll put the rest aside. I have my machine is threaded. And here is my clue. Okay, this is going to be a 60 by 60 inch clue. Step 3. Make 26 units each, comprised of 1 2.5-inch scrap square and 1 2.5-inch by 4.5-inch rectangle, and just sew them together. Okay, I'm supposed to make 26 of those. And then the second part, I'm supposed to make 50 of these, and then this. You see that? So if I do this right, 50 plus 26, I should make 76 seams. KB, my sister's probably already done. That's not very many seams. Someday I'm really going to challenge her when she says, I can do that with my hand tied behind my back, or I can do that with my eyes shut. Someday I'm going to watch her do that. And I must concur, girls. So far, this quilt, oh, but see, here's a key. So far, it's pretty darn easy, but watch me do this all wrong. Note that, oh, and make sure you have the step 3 with 2 diagrams. 1, 2. The second diagram, it says, make sure the accent fabric is in the upper left corner. So keep me honest. I have to make sure it's in the upper left corner. And I know that it's probably hard to see with the backdrop. So I'm going to do all 50 of those first. And this is as easy as, so I have my 1/4 inch foot. Okay. What I'm loving about this pattern is it's telling me which way to iron my squares. I love that. So thank you guys. So see what I'm doing? I'm just doing, I'm actually doing the second part first. Isn't that interesting? I wonder why. And I'm being selective because I just used that one. I'm not going to use that one. So it's, and you know what? I'm not even going to use that one. It's not different enough. That one is though. Ooh, I like that. This is going to be so interesting. Ann Hayward, I love your pinks. I love to see that come together. And Maureen Ding in Pennsylvania, I hope that your travels are going well. Maureen, for those of you who may not know, is actually driving right now from Lake Tahoe back to her home in Pennsylvania. So that is quite the adventure. I'm sure we'll hear half the story at least. But I'm so glad you all could join me. This is our 3rd week back from after being away for a couple of months. And it sure feels nice to be back. I've gotten quite a bit done this week. Namely, I've become a New England Quilt Museum teacher. And that's easy to do. You basically pay them your membership fee for the year. And so I've submitted my paperwork to get my name on the teacher list. What I also have done is I'm asking to go to their October 2nd Meet the Teachers program. And I have not been accepted yet. It's late. They tell me they don't accept all teachers, so I've made a proposal. And I'm offering 3 programs. And I'm really hoping that they let me come and talk to guilds because I'm pretty excited about the 3 quilts. So the first one is that chopstick quilt that we did last week, the modern chopsticks. And that will be really fun. It's just a day-long workshop, and people will leave their quilt top and we'll machine quilt it. I'll machine quilt it for them and return all the quilt tops to the guild meeting the following month. So that's kind of fun. And then the second one, do you remember the Crocus and Daffodil Mystery Quilt that we did in 2014? Well, I'm going to revisit it and do it in new colors, hopefully create a secondary pattern in it. And so I pulled that pattern up and I'm including that as a program. I'd love for a guild to do that. And then the third is creating a mystery quilt and a program for a guild that would culminate in your own FiberCast. Ooh, I like that. That's what we made a quilt for Aunt Ann. Mom, Karen, and I did out of that blue and white. And Mom tells me Aunt Ann still has it on her bed. How cool is that? Anyway, so I made progress on that goal. I also, this is kind of a public service announcement I wanted to share with everyone. I also am making a second modern chopsticks quilt. And I'll show it to you again next week so you know what quilt design I'm talking about. But I found pinks in my stash. I was motivated by Anne and others who have been using pinks, and Diane out on the West Coast, and those of you, my sister, of course, who just loves everything pink. So I went to the Joann's yesterday. I had an hour. In fact, I called my mother on my way over and said I'm escaping. And I ended up, for the record, I spent $3.81. So I was very proud of myself. The reason being, Joann's has fat quarters on sale for 99 cents. So this is my public service announcement. See, fat quarters, 99 cents in the latest Joann stock up sale and coupon commotion circular. I found 2 additional pinks. I need 16 different colors of pink, and I needed 2 more. So I picked out these, and I know they look white. They probably look white, but I love them, and they're very dear little prints, and they were on the fat corner squares, 99 cents. Well, I washed all of the fabric, so because I wanted to make sure this was old fabric from the 80s and 90s, and I wanted to make sure it was free and clear of any smells and dirt, whatever. So I wanted to wash these too. Well, here's my public service announcement. They ended up shrinking so much that they're not even big enough for my pattern. One of them is only 17 inches by 20, and the other one is 18.5 inches by 20. And I need 18, and when I say 20, it's not a good 20. It's like 19.5 on one side and 20 on the other. So I'm disappointed. They are just quite too small. But that said, I still would buy these again because they washed up, and the feel of the fabric is pretty darn, it's got a nice hand. It's thicker and more plush than I would have thought it would be. So they'll turn into doll dresses or something fun. Anyway, that's my service announcement, my public service announcement. And make sure, if you don't have your Joann coupon book, download their app. And really, I'm not a paid spokesperson, but if anyone out there knows the Joann's marketing department, have them call me, because I would like to be. Get the app. It will give you coupons. And there are a couple of remaining ones. Mom, you'll know that there are only 3 left, KB. One is 50% off any regularly priced notion. And then I have 2 more, 40% off another regularly priced item and 50% off one regularly cut of fabric. And of course, Snuggle, comfy fabric that I like Minky, that I like to put on the back of my quilts. That one is already on sale for 30%. So I can't use my coupon. Anywho, let me keep going. I just wanted to share that. I think Joann's is international, but then again, maybe they're only in America. It would be interesting to compare and contrast our different fabric sources. I have to tell you, going up into the attic and finding these old fabrics was really fun, and they have cleaned up. So I encourage, and I actually challenge everyone, for your next quilt, maybe we just do a quilt from our stash. That might be fun. And yet, look at me, I had to go augment, right? And I did buy 2 other fat quarters. Well, 1 fat quarter and 1 regular quarter that was just the right color for the chopsticks. They're going to go across this, but it's a very dark burgundy. And so, of course, I had to wash those separately, and they're in the washing machine right now without a color catcher. So I hope that they didn't get in there with lots of other things, but whatever. Okay, so I'm just sewing away. I love this clue because I don't have to think too much. If you're out there and which I know you are, because I hear from so many of you throughout the week, and I just thank you. Know that I read every tweet and every note you send me, and thank you for reaching out and being there and being fellow quilters. If you want me to show your work to people, or you want to share it with other people, or let me know what you're working on, send it to me at lmarquidant@gmail.com, and I'll spell it LMARQUEDANT@gmail.com. And I'll look at it on the big iPad, or you can post it on the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt Along, which really works really well. Sherry did that the other day, and several of you have done that, and it's just great to see what you're working on. And people can see it better than when I hold it up here. But certainly, either way is fine. And I still, so with all this new Apple iPhone rigmarole and iPhone 8 and iPhone, is it 10? Whatever, the one that costs $1,000. I swear both Bob and I are having delays in our iPhone and it's getting caught up. In fact, today, for quite a while, mine was a blank screen. I finally went on with my PC. I was ready to go to the phone store and see if they could undo it. You know, I'd held down all the buttons and I tried to reboot it. I tried to push a pin in the side. There's a little hole in there. I think it's the SIM card. And if I had, I could have gotten it out, but I didn't, thank goodness. Anyway, I ultimately went to the PC and saw it told me what to do. And it was hold down both the top button and the home button for 10 seconds. And I did. And I held it and I held it and I counted and I counted. And finally, the Apple icon came on. And I was 40% charged. So it wasn't like my battery was down dead. It was peculiar. But I got it back. Man, do I need that phone. I had no idea how tethered I was to that. But things like, for example, let's make sure I don't run out of thread while I'm chit-chatting. I mean, all day long I'm using it, as we all are, whether it's getting an address for a card, excuse me, or, so I looked that up on the phone. I have discovered Siri, and I've discovered the microphone. Like, for example, if let's say I'm looking up someone's address. This is something I taught myself, I learned. Look up the address on Safari. Excuse me. Look up the address on Safari. Then when you have it, so let's say you wrote it down on, like I did, I wrote it on my card. And then I thought, I don't want to do this next time. I want to have this address in my address book. So I went and I opened up my address book in my phone. And there's a little microphone there. And so first I did hit edit. I found the person's name and they didn't have their address. So I hit edit. And then I hit that microphone and I said the address. So 35 High Street, whatever, Massachusetts, and it filled it in. So I didn't have to sit there and type. And I've been discovering that voice feature is getting better and better, or I'm getting better at using it. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's not as sophisticated as our friend Sarah Kokanowski, who is out there in Chilliwack picking up her camper. She has her iPhone mounted on her dashboard of her truck. So as she's been driving across country, she has it set up so if the camera, if she says smile, it'll take a picture. So she has it mounted on her dashboard. She's driving down the highway, driving literally across the country. And let's say she sees these amazing things like a magpie, or she saw a cat, a wild cat. What was it? A bobcat, I think. Anyway, you can see her blog, Wild Thing Escapes. It's really good. It's detailed, but I like that. And she can just say smile as she's driving. So she keeps her hands on the wheel. And then at the end of the day, she has this set of pictures that she's been blogging about. It's really smart of her. So anyway, the voice feature of the iPhone, and it's probably just as good with the Samsung and some other phones, but I have just recently discovered it. Oh, so much to learn. Which brings me to machine quilting. Oh, I have so much to learn. I have decided officially that I don't do custom quilting yet. There's no way that I have that skill yet to be able to do it. I feel bad. Deb Linehan, I did a quilt for her, and I had to take out some of the quilting, so it left lots of little holes. And then I did some hand-guided quilting, spelling out names of her family, and it came out horribly. So Chris, if you're out there, I don't know if you saw it, but 2 weeks ago, I put I had behind me one of the quilts that you did for me years ago. You custom quilted it, and it has my name in it, and it has meow meow, and it's all these themes for each of the house blocks. I had no idea the amount of skill that took. So thank you. I cherish it even more. I just wanted you to know that. It's, you know, between tension and thread breaks and needle breaks, and anyway, but when the machine works great, it works great. So I definitely am into edge to edge, and for those of you who have sent your quilts, I promise you I'll do a good job. So, and each day, or not really each day, but with each quilt I still am learning things. For example, I mentioned Deb Linehan. She has dropped off her a quilt that she did for her grandson, and it has his name on it. Ooh, ding! Who is that? Aw, hi Chris. I can't believe how much skill that takes to maneuver this big machine. And I was re-looking at the quilt that you did for me, and the custom quilting is tiny, and like I say, it's custom for each house. So Deb has dropped off this quilt that she made for her grandson, whose name is Sam, and she has spelled out his name in big letters. This is perfect for me, Sam, S-A-M. And she wants a meander behind the letter Sam. So she doesn't want me to go over the letters Sam. So I am going to learn with my Gamel how to do a trim. So wish me luck. I've watched a video or two. And it's pretty cool if I can figure it out. The only way I've done it so far is not a very good way. I've jerry-rigged the computer, so I have a lot of loose ends. If I can figure it out right with the computer, it will literally, on the screen, be able to go around the letter Sam, and do a continuous meander behind Sam, if I do that right. So that's the goal. Hopefully by next week, I'll be able to show you that. Although I may not, because she needs it for I think a surprise birthday party. So I may not be able to show you next week. But just know, I'm working on it. This quilt is so fun. I'm so curious what it's going to look like. I better speed up a little bit. Who's out there? Aw, it's Chris again. I'm so glad you're out there. We've been thinking of you, Chris. Ooh, Jean, speaking of our designer, Jean says, Sarah's home for the night and we're out to dinner, so she'll tune in late. Hi, Jean, when you watch this. We're all set with our 2 diagrams. Thanks for such a fast turnaround on that. It's A-okay. She says, I love seeing the pictures already of clue number 3 on Facebook. She says, Fibercasters are so talented. Yes, they are. And we hail from around the world, don't we? Ooh, I like that. I'm hoping this is scrappy enough and different enough, this dark blue. I think it will be. So remember, keep your accent color in the upper left corner. Kathleen, if you're out there, hi. Thanks for your note. I love that you're following along. It was so good to see everyone at the Marathon Quilt Guild. What was it, two Tuesdays ago? And then I went to the Vintage Quilters meeting this Thursday. I dipped in there while Bob's brother came by. And what fun that was to see some people I knew. I met new people, and it was such a welcoming environment. Okay, so we're cranking along. These are the 50, and then we just have to do 25, and then iron them. Huh. love this. I'm trying to get as much of a mixture as I can. I have my iron going on. Oops, it's easy to pick up too. So what else? Oh, let's talk about the hurricanes. Here in the United States, Texas was hit by Hurricane Harvey, Category 5. It's been on, I believe, on international news. The amount of rain that storm brought in was historic. And it caused flooding and destruction and has changed a lot of people's lives. Then within a week, Irma came up through many of the islands, the Caribbean islands, and then hit the west coast of Florida. Less rain, but lots of wind, lots of destruction, especially down toward Marathon and the Keys. Then this past week, another, what was it, Category 3, Category 4 storm Maria came through and has reportedly taken out all the electricity in Puerto Rico. You can read all the news. This is just horrible. Maria has come through, and then Jose went up the coast, and that's the rain we're getting here in New England. Nothing compared to down south. But definitely high storms, and boats aren't running to the islands off of Cape Cod, that's for sure. And some of the pictures down toward the Outer Banks are really remarkable with the great big waves. Even on the Cape, the pictures of the waves are pretty stunning. So, oh, and then you throw in a couple of earthquakes in Mexico, and then you throw in just our world and our differences and you know, economic difficulties and political difficulties and all the complexities of living in our time. Yada, yada, yada. And I know I get on this soapbox and there's nothing I can do at that macro level, so I just have to stop thinking about it. Or so she says. Maybe that's a good excuse. Oh, I like this one. Anyway, the question is, how can we as individuals best help people given all of this that's going on? I'm curious how you all do it. I know that Deb Linehan, so Deb would definitely win the contest tonight. I think I've said her name most. So Jean and Chris, sit down. Deb's winning tonight. Not to be left out, Carol, though. We're going to get to you. Anyway, she sent me a link to the Missouri Star Quilt Company a few days ago, and they are collecting quilts. And she said, are any quilt guilds doing anything for the hurricanes that you know of? And so I did a little asking around, and I talked to Yvonne, and I talked to our guild, and doing the reading online, what it seems to be saying is what's needed now are the basic necessities of life. And the best way to do that is with money. So whether it's water, shelter, clothing, possibly pillowcases, and certainly quilts pretty soon. But that's really the first thing is just, and removing all the wet debris that's going to get moldy and the water that's there that's carrying disease and all that terrible stuff. So the first, what I keep hearing is right now, the Red Cross is a good place to possibly donate. And there are some others. There are different, the Dell, Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, they have put up a lot of matching private money. So that's definitely an area to consider. They've put up to 36 million, and they will match your money. And there are others, right? So that's number one. But then for me, the more directly I can help someone, I think the better. So I was wondering out there if anyone knows of anyone who's directly impacted by any of the hurricanes. Maybe there's something we could do for one family out there. That was another thought. So anyway, and I'm curious how people deal with that charity fatigue. I talked to Bob about it, and he said his thought was look for a reputable organization. Certainly the Red Cross has a good track record. And then another thought I had was, I have to keep doing this while I'm thinking and talking, was maybe not directly helping those people in those areas that have been hit by a natural disaster, but just being more cognizant of helping out our neighbors wherever we live. That will help down the road. They'll help someone else, and then they'll help someone else, and ultimately it will get to Texas and Florida and Mexico. So that was another thought I had. And I'm definitely trying that more. Anywho, so I said I would talk about that. That's about all I've got on that subject. And I am almost done with my 50. And then I will see who's out there on the iPad so I can show you pictures. I guess I needed to talk. Man, I've been babbling on and on here. I have been checking for thread to make sure. Oh, you guys can't see this. Look at my pile. Woohoo! Sorry about that. I thought you could see it. My bad. Okay. And then it says, press toward the rectangle. Okay. So I'm going to do these in sections of 5 or 6. And then I set my seam. I love flag piecing. Okay, and then press the seam toward the triangle. Thank you, Jean and Kelsey, for telling us which way to iron. I'm learning these things. Carol Bell, I wonder if you're out there. Okay, so there are 4 that I will just take a look at. Ooh, I love this. KB, you're right. I love to iron. There's one. Let me put this over. Put all this over. So now I can start to make my pile. There's another one. This one needs a new iron. There's one. I swear, some fabric never goes away. That has to be 15 years old, that blue fabric. I keep finding one more. Okay, 4. Let's do these 2. I'm loving this. Oop, I'm going to turn it over again. Give it another good. There's another one. And here's another one. Okay, let's see who's out there. We have this whole pile to do. But first I want to see if you're out there. Again, lmarquidant@gmail.com. If you're out there, even if you don't want to. Oh, but I love seeing you, Amy Russell. Hello, Amy. Oh, it's so good to hear from you. She says, I'm so glad to see you, Lynn, and see so many posts from folks online. She says, I'm coming late to the party, but I'm here. I've gone back and forth between 30s prints or something modern, she says, for this mystery. I finally landed on modern with jewel tone scraps and gold accent fabric, something a little different for me. Oh, good. She says, I love seeing everyone's fabric choices. Take care all, from Amy. Aw. Oh, good. I can't wait to see your colors. I loved the gold, the blue, and the red, if I've got that right, that you did. It was stunning. Carol is out there. Hi, Carol. Carol says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. Hope you are well. I've not done much sewing this week, although I did take my sewing machine out on a trip to my daughter's to shorten her curtains. Say that 3 times fast. Shorten her curtains. Good for you. She's a lucky daughter. Oh, and Carol says, I've done clue 3. We'll start pressing them in a minute. I've also got the other half of my point quilt put together. Now only have to put on final corners and borders. Oh, wow. You showed us that. So this is progress that Carol has made since last week. That is great. That actually, there's more to that quilt than might meet the eye at first, because you'll notice there are darks and lights and different sizes of blocks, and there is more rhyme. There is a pattern here, and it's on point. So this is not easy to do. Now, it's not Y seams, right? But I bet there are triangles that have to be fit in each row. Love it. I just threw down half my fabric, but I think we'll still have plenty. Oh, I'm so glad you're there, Carol. Sleep well. Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. She says, I'm glad to see you back. I'm playing catch up tonight, working on all 3 clues. Way to go. Make sure, well, let me know if you have any questions. There are a couple of versions of step 3, but so anyway, it'll be, oh, and you've already done it. Look at these. Oh, here we go, though. I anticipated. Question, she says, for clue 3, can we attach an accent triangle to a 6.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangle instead of using 4.5 by 2.5 rectangles and 2.5 inch squares? Okay, so I'm as much in the dark as you are on this mystery. I think the question that Rebecca is asking is, instead of ending up with this blue triangle and this blue square, can she actually have all of that be one color blue? And the way she would do that is cut out a 6.5 inch rectangle and then a 2.5 inch square, put it on, sew it, and turn it over to create this. My answer is yes. You just won't have quite the variety. And I think the key is, now how's this for getting in the middle of a designer's pattern? Jean, if this is wrong, write to us. I think the key is that your end unit should measure 2.5 by 6.5, which, based on what you're just saying, I think it will. How's that? Oh, and she says, don't forget the basket sampler quilt idea. I'd still like to make one if others are interested. Becca, thank you. I had completely forgotten. I'm in. So this is an idea of, we make basket samplers, and I think a bunch of us could design a basket, and then we throw those different patterns in a pot, and we each make each of the baskets. That would be really fun. Becca, I'm in. Let's do it after we do this one. And I love your colors. So these are Becca's 50 half square triangles. Love it. But now that you've done all 50, you probably aren't going to want to do what we just talked about. I don't. So glad you're out there. Oh, Sandra in hot Mississippi. She says, hi, I'm here, punny, but here. Oh, no. Oh. She says, I've had bronchitis all week, so no sewing, just sneezing, coughing, etc. Oh, I am sending good vibes. Drink lots of fluids. I hope you feel better. Just sleep, rest, rest. Hopefully I'll be back in the swing next week. And she says, hope everyone's well. Hugs from Sandra in Hot, Mississippi. Just like you to be thinking about all of us. You get better. We're here. And sleep. Uh-oh. Diane says she's frustrated. Tell me why. This sounds like I can relate. I've had one of these days myself. She says, hello, FiberCasters. Sadly, I am not able to watch live due to my laptop and my phone not being able to log into it. I say with a pouty lower lip. Hopefully, I can watch after it is done and download it on YouTube. Fingers crossed. Anyway, she says, I just wanted to say that I do hope Bob has had a good week, or at least as best as he can. And I wanted to update you on Dash since you mentioned it last week. Oh, I would love that. Dash is Diane's grandson. Dash continues to be our little miracle. His heart is doing great after his open heart surgery. However, he still has some physical effects from when he coded, but he is going to physical therapy and we have faith that he will continue to grow strong. Me too. The human body is an amazing thing. He's almost 6 months old now and brings us such joy. She says, Diane says, wishing you all out there a beautiful weekend. Diane from California. Now look at that. There is something we can learn from that note. She starts off frustrated. She tells us about it. We can relate. We can understand. We know it will get fixed. Pretty much, I think, maybe. And then she goes on to look at the good in life. And she brings us up to date and leaves us on a positive note. And that is what coaching is all about, I think. So you're coaching us to look at the good. Sorry about that frustration. Leah, hi Leah. She says, hi Lynn and FiberCasters, love the quilt on your wall. Well, thank you. And thank you, Sandra, for saying that. The middle was paper pieced. It's a Carol Doak paper piece pattern. KB, you'd be proud of me. And then, I think it is anyway. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then I improvised and I made some houses to go around it to make it bigger. She says, I'm watching live. This is Leah. And working on the last border of the brown bag mystery. We'll work on this clue tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Oh, Leah, that's excellent. So remember my comment about custom quilting? I would still love to do your brown bag mystery quilt. I can quilt it, but it probably will be an edge to edge because I don't want to goof it up. I'm not ready yet to do anything custom. So see what you think. In fact, I have Jean's crocus and daffodil quilt in my cupboard that she did in 2014, and she dropped it off in case I wanted to practice custom quilting, and I'm not ready yet, but I will. It's just such beautiful work. Oh my goodness, I love that you're all out there. Allie and Peter. This is really Allison. She says, hi, great to see you back. She's from Down Under. She says, I'm catching up with the last 2 weeks of FiberCast as I type. Oh, good. She says, we got back home on Thursday. It's Saturday morning here, and we are expecting a spring heat wave of mid-30s. And I'm still working on the brown bag mystery. Oh, good. I love your colors. As well as your new mystery. I have the fabric chosen and will start the 4-patch after I finish the current brown bag clue. You are amazing. The amount of work you get done is just amazing. Plus you take pictures and you travel your caravan and you watch your roosters, and I just love your love of life. She says, I've also started another mystery quilt! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I have so many projects on the go and I love it. So spelled S-E-W. She says it's footy season finals here, and my team, the Roosters, have made it to the semis. And they play Wendy's team, the Cowboys, tonight to see who gets into the final next Sunday. How exciting. Oh, my goodness. Well, good luck to you both. So the Roosters and the Cowboys Down Under, Allie and Wendy. Oh, that is fun competition. Allie says I'm glad to hear all is well there and all is well here. Happy sewing. To you too. Good luck to those teams. Okay, let me take one more and then I will get back to my clue. Christina, hi. She says, Lynn, so sorry I haven't been in touch with you sooner. Things have gone a little bit complicated since I arrived. Oh, that's okay. She says, I had a reappointment and the doctor caught me having too high blood pressure and would not go any further before seeing a doctor. Good. Well, now that doctor wants to see me one more time before heading home in October. Now to the quilt. It's coming. I still have to press it before sending. Best regards, Christina. Well, don't you worry. If you just want to put it in a box, I can press it here. So I'm glad to hear you're getting good care. That's the most important thing. And I'm glad you wrote. Thanks. I was thinking of your quilt today. Awesome. Norma. Hi, Norma. She says, howdy, Lynn. I'm finally getting to cut my material for the mystery. I'm hoping to be caught up on the clues by Monday. Good. It seems like forever since I've got to spend my time in my sewing room. I sure have missed it. I know you've had company, you've had grandchildren. She says, our oldest daughter and her husband are now moved in and living next door to us. So I enjoy getting to spend time with her during the day every now and then. We have watched a couple of movies today. When Calls the Heart was one of them. It was very good. When Calls the Heart. Ooh, Calls the Heart. She says, I've been watching the series on Netflix. I love everyone's color, she says. Color choices. I can't wait to see how this mystery will come together. Hope you and everyone have a wonderful weekend. Love, Norma from Kentucky. Thank you, Norma. And I love the pictures you take when you're out with your husband on your Sunday trips, your travels, the wild horses, the rolling fields of Kentucky, the greenery that's going to turn into colors. It is very fun. Bronzy Girl. Hi, Cheryl. She says, hi, Lynn and all my quilty friends. Happy Friday. I'm working on another Dear Jane block this evening, and I've been working on a crochet Euphoria Cardi from Annie's, period. Lots of projects to do. Looking forward to sewing while watching you and the Mystery Lynn. Have a great weekend, everyone. You too, Cheryl. And your Dear Jane, I'm glad you're back at it. That reminds me that this is long overdue. Sue Norton out there is, ooh, I should know where you are. You're down south. Anyway, Sue, who has been making Dear Jane blocks and is quite prolific while holding down a full-time job and going through a lot. I wanted to send our condolences to you for, I think, your grandmother and maybe some other people in your family. I'm sorry. We're sorry for your loss. And we're here, and the fog does clear. It really does. The older you get, the shorter the period of fog. You must just learn to deal with it. It's not that it's good, but it must be our way of coping. So see what I just did? I cut these into manageable sets of flags. So those are 5. I'm gonna set the seam. I learned to set the seam from Linda Grant. And I wonder how Linda Grant is these days. We missed her at the last Quilt Guild meeting. So Linda Grant, or if anyone's out there and knows how Linda's doing, let us know. It is a busy time of year, isn't it? It's kind of an exciting time. The season changes. So there is that. I think I'm just going to do the preliminary press of these for now, and I'll come back and really get them. I'm not using starch yet, but maybe I should with this one. I'll get a crisper outcome. It was all set to go down to Main Street in the center of our town. One of our, well, but I didn't because it was raining. I'll tell you about that next week. What else is going on? So I told you about Joann's. Can't believe I didn't use a 60% off coupon. They've had a couple of them, and I just haven't found anything. Okay. So I think rather than continuing to iron these, I'm going to work on the others. And before I do that, though, Deb, again, Chris and Jean, Deb is winning tonight. Deb made me something that I had to share with people, and I'm so excited about it. It is a clutch that I can put around my hand and go places like to Hopkinton's Family Day and carry my keys and my phone in this and some cash and credit cards. Check this out. She made this. So it opens up, and then inside, I don't know if you can see this very well, but it has a zipper pocket. And then over here, it has places for my credit cards. Isn't that something? I just love it. And you know how long these take. And I just, 2 zippers, lots of compartments. And then this, I really like. You put that, you shut that, and then it can be on your hand, and you can carry it around. So thank you, Deb. It was a very thoughtful gift. Everyone is unbelievably good to me. Oh. Okay, so let me go to the next clue. Right, so let's assume I did all 50 of these. I ironed all 50. And they're almost all ironed. They're right there. Okay. Then the next is we need to make 26 units of just one of these 2.5-inch squares with one of these 4-inch. Okay. This I'm also going to do via flag piecing. So fun, the quilt my sister quilted when she was here that she and Alexa had made has been gifted. It was a baby quilt. It's been gifted and the baby has been born. Don't you love that? Baby Leo. Three. This 4. Trying to mix things up here. 5. Oh, it's so nice to know many of you are out there tonight. Oops, picked up 2 of the same. There we go. What else? There's so much going on. It's kind of nice to just enjoy the flow of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do one more. $10. I'm going to put that aside so I know I've done 10. Woohoo! Isn't that fun? That is looking scrappy. 10. Okay. There's a good one again. See, some of these, like that fabric is in a quilt I made for my cousin 16 years ago. I know because it was for her 40th birthday and she's 56 now. How does that happen? Yikes. And yet some of these others are brand new. Like some of these I got in a bundle from Kelsey. Again, Kelsey from Color Wheel Quilts has such an eye for these different fabrics. I love the fabric she picks. This was part of a blue bundle. And I don't know if you can see that. See, it's very subtle, but it's very 2017. One thing, another thing, speaking of Joanne fabrics, like I was several minutes ago, I have a hard time accepting that they have fabric on for sale there that's $14.99 a yard. And I suspect some of you who are overseas are paying comparable, but that's just, we're not used to prices quite that high. At Joann's, no less. Now it seems like good quality. It's not like these 99-cent ones that shrunk right up. But as I say, I'm still pleased with this fabric. Okay, so we need 26, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 6, and then we have 10 more. Six. And we have 10 more, and this might be perfect timing because it is amazing. What do we say? It's amazing what we get done in 60 minutes. Boy, I miss saying that. Okay, let me do 10 more of these. Let's see how fast I can do them. How's that? 1. Zip. 2. Woohoo, we're cranking. 4. 5. 5 more, and then we're going to say goodbye. And wish everyone just a wonderful weekend of doing what you want to do. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So I want to thank everyone for joining me and continuing to welcome me back online. FiberCast is just a great way for us to get together, work on our quilts. Thank you to Color Wheel Quilts and Jean and Kelsey for putting this mystery together for us. Next week, we're going to have actually 2 steps, 4 and 5. So tune in. I'll post them next Friday morning. Have a great weekend and a great week. Bye, everyone.